Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Nasdaq IR Insight Live. I'm your host, Lori Coulombe, and joining me today is Jeff LaRocque, Director of Nasdaq Advisory Services.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to have you.
A little rainy here in New York today, but
it is.
We're getting by.
We're staying dry.
That's exactly
here in the studio. So, but let's talk about the markets.
Sure.
Okay. So, what are you seeing in the broader markets? What's going on?
You know, last check, we're within striking distance of those all-time highs. We are hovering. We've kind of been hovering around these levels for quite a while. We haven't really had a moment where we're kind of breaking through. Trade tensions are obviously the overhang in the market, and until a final resolution is really in place, I think we're still going to see that friction amongst the two countries.
Okay.
We have earnings within the next couple of weeks, which should be an interesting indicator of where we are and if tariffs have actually benefited some of these U.S. companies' bottom line. But ultimately, it's a pretty exciting time in the market. Definitely a moment of I guess we can look back and say, all right, the U.S. economy is performing very well, and we are justified to be trading at these all-time highs. So, yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Then, what I want to focus on now is the healthcare sector. So, what are you seeing in that sector?
Well, like what I'm seeing in the broader markets, there has been a little bit of a shift into more of a defensive play. From amongst all the sectors, industrials, telecoms, as well as some utilities. Some of those dividend-paying companies are seeing some upside over the past, and we are seeing a little bit of a shift, maybe out of tech into some of these more defensive plays. Okay. But then when you look at healthcare, you can kind of break it down a little bit more, and that theme is very consistent. Pharma, med tech, those subsectors continue to press higher. While biotech, we are seeing a little bit of maybe profit taking because they are considered more of a high growth, more of a speculative name that, when they do see a spike in price upside down, or actually just upside downside, it's usually related to some sort of data release. Okay. So it is a little bit more on the specific side. But overall, healthcare has been the best performer during the third quarter. We have a couple days left, and, so they have outperformed. And it's nice to see. Nice to see some of these healthcare names that have kind of been out of favor for quite a while to really see them consistently outperform the markets.
Okay, we look forward to hearing more about those during the quarterly earnings season for sure.
Absolutely. And earnings season's always very, with healthcare, I think you see a consistency amongst the numbers that are released.
Okay.
At this point, I wouldn't expect to see too many surprises. We are anticipating yet another quarter of strong results for the group. When the bigger names do report, you see it kind of fed down to all the other names, and there is a pretty consistent numbers that come out when it does come to quarterly earnings.
Okay. Well, taking it back out more broadly, any new themes that you've identified that you want to share with our viewers today?
Well, I don't want to mention it too much, but the cannabis trade has been something that has been pretty remarkable to watch. And when you start to hear different news that comes out with the cannabis sector, different regulatory things opening up opportunities within the beverage and alcoholic business, that they say that they would like to take part in this cannabis opportunity. And you've seen some of the prices in some of these cannabis names really see some volatile trading recently. And I think that really comes down to, well, they don't really have a defined outlook, or what is really the opportunity within the sector, and how big can it possibly be. So that's why you're seeing some volatile trading in the cannabis stocks, and it will be, in my opinion, it will be a couple of years before we really see some traction, and volatility will probably continue amongst those names. So.
Okay. Anything around like the elections coming up that you've started to see?
Yeah, midterm elections will be probably a pretty decent driver for healthcare names. There's been this whole healthcare overhaul with drug pricing that the administration has kind of enforced, and if Congress can be retained by the Republicans, I would fully anticipate that overhaul to continue, and we'll probably see more and more, things come out from the administration to kind of push drug pricing and better competition amongst generics.
Okay.
And that's really their backbone. But on the flip side, if the reverse happens, we might see all those efforts with the healthcare overhaul kind of take a stop, and might even come to an end for all we know. It will be interesting for healthcare to see those results and how they play out.
Right.
So.
All right, well, a lot going on in that sector, a lot going on down in DC. I definitely look forward to speaking with you again.
Absolutely, yeah.
During earnings season and after the elections in November, and see where we're at and where you think we're going to go. So thanks for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me, Laura.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you all for joining today's edition of Nasdaq IR Insight Live. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.